Stop waiting for a hero. No one is coming to save you. It might not be your fault, but your life is still your problem.
Then you must sacrifice who you are for who you want to be. The trade-off is the only way forward.
They control you! Stop being a coward and start being a person of courage.
Potential is a trap. Commitment is the cure. Trade your what-ifs for reality and take the jump today.
The more bad things that happen, the more epic your story becomes. This struggle is just the fuel for the person you are becoming. Options are only valuable when you take them. You are paralyzed because you're too weak to sacrifice. Stop maximizing potential and start realizing reality.
Realize that no one is coming to save you. You are the only one who can change your life.
It might not be your fault. Take full responsibility for your position.
You must be willing to sacrifice who you are for who you want to be.
Tell yourself, this is the story I will one day tell. Harder times make the story more epic. Inaction is a decision. Doors close and opportunities go away if you do not seize them.
The pain of trade-offs holds people back. They try to have everything and end up with nothing.
More options make you miserable. You get stuck because you don't know what you're willing to sacrifice.
You can't have the mountain view and the beach at the same time. You must choose.
People mistake never settle for never make trades. But options are only valuable when they are taken. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. You must cash in your options to create reality.
If you are afraid of what others say, you are allowing them to control your behavior. Many can do hard things physically, but few can do hard things decisively. Both require courage.
The hardest part is the first set of friends you relinquish. You sacrifice the known for the unknown.
The cost is known, but the payoff isn't. That is why the world rewards courage, not intellect. The most unstoppable person in the world is the one who continues to show up every single day, even when the rewards are not guaranteed.
Your potential is determined by how much uncertainty you can tolerate, and for how long.
Master the shame of rejection, the boredom of repetition, and the pain of feedback to win.
Courage is taking action with a known short-term cost for an uncertain delayed benefit.
One path is guaranteed to fail. The other gives you a shot at everything you want. Losing is not failure, it is fuel. It is a signal that you need to change your direction. Feeling bad is a signal. Don't hide from the pain of loss. Learn from it and do it again.
Recognize the patterns. Ask yourself, am I pushing through hardship, or is it time to pivot?
Losing is the signal on the path to winning. Not playing is the only forever loss.
Progress requires you to actively say no to the things you want, so you can get what you want more.
Physical hardness is easy. Decisive hardness, telling the truth when it's difficult, is what actually changes your life. You can beat 99% of people if you can master the shame of rejection and the boredom of repetition.
Courage is taking action with a known short-term cost for an uncertain, delayed benefit. It's the ultimate trade.
You can ignore reality today, but you will have to pay it back with interest later. The check always comes due.
Feeling bad is not a reason to panic. It is a signal to change. Don't run from the pain. Is it time to push through the hardship, or is it time to pivot? Learn to recognize the patterns of growth.
Losing is just a signal on the path to winning. Not playing at all is the only way to forever lose.
It is far better to be a failure than a coward. A failure has the courage to try. but a coward loses without ever playing the game. If no one is coming to save you, then remember this: no one is coming to stop you either. The only barrier in your way is you.
Your current path is a guaranteed failure. The other path is uncertain, but it's the only one where you actually have a shot at winning.
So have you ever stared at a menu with just so many good options that you completely freeze?
Oh, absolutely. The classic paradox of choice, right?
Exactly. You want the steak, you want the pasta, and the seafood looks incredible too. And the waiter is just standing there, pen in hand, and your brain basically just short circuits.
Yeah, it's paralyzing.
Right. Now, scale that paralysis up from a dinner menu to your career, your relationships, your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are looking at why having too much potential, all those incredible things you could supposedly be, is actually a trap.
It really is. We treat potential like it's this universally positive, boundless thing. But I mean, unspent potential is incredibly heavy.
So heavy.
When you have too many open doors, the pressure to pick the perfect one can just anchor you to the floor doing nothing year after year.
And breaking out of that paralysis is exactly what we are tackling today. We're pulling from a really brilliant, no-nonsense speech by entrepreneur Alex Hormozi.
This is a good one.
It really is. It was featured on the Motiversity channel, and the title alone tells you everything you need to know about the vibe here. It's called Nobody is Coming, Do It Alone.
Pretty blunt.
Very blunt. So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the psychological mechanics of taking action.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out why we freeze up, and we're looking at some pretty brutal, but honestly totally liberating truths about what it actually takes to realize your potential.
Yeah, and what I love about this source is that he's not just, yelling at you to work harder. He's actually doing the math on why we procrastinate, why we run away from hard choices, and
how our brains trick us into staying comfortable.
Exactly. It's a really surgical look at human behavior.
So the very first premise hits like a ton of bricks. The core concept is right there in the title. No one is coming to save you. But there is a flip side to this realization that I think is really important.
Right, because if no one is coming to save you, it also means no one is coming to stop you. You have absolute terrifying autonomy.
Terrifying is the right word. Because to actually use that autonomy, you have to embrace a very specific and somewhat uncomfortable distinction.
The fault versus problem thing.
Yes, the difference between what is your fault and what is your problem.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I see the logic there, but man, I have to push back on this on behalf of anyone listening right now.
Okay, go for it.
Because when you first hear this, it feels like a slap in the face. Let's say I get bankrupt because of a certain catastrophic medical issue, or I grew up in systemic poverty, or I carry deep trauma from something done to me as a kid.
Right, really heavy stuff.
Exactly. None of that is my fault. So telling me that it's just my problem to fix feels unbelievably harsh. I mean, how is someone supposed to make that mental leap without just becoming incredibly bitter?
That's a really fair question, and it feels harsh because we often conflate the word problem with blame. We think if something is our problem, we are somehow being punished for it.
Right, like it's a moral failing.
Exactly. But this isn't a moral judgment, it's a statement of raw utility. Think about it like this. If you get hit by a drunk driver, it is absolutely not your fault.
Not at all.
But if you wait for the drunk driver to come to the hospital, do your physical therapy for you, and rebuild your life, you are going to die waiting.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that paints a picture.
If you assign the responsibility for fixing your life to the external forces that broke it, you're just trapping yourself in a state of powerlessness.
Because you're basically putting the keys to your future in the pocket of the person or the system that ran you over.
Exactly. You are waiting to be saved. Accepting that it is your problem, regardless of whose fault it is really the only way to reclaim the power to act. You become the source of the solution.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is really the foundation of the source's 3-step process to actually winning. Step 1, realize no one is coming to save you.
Got it.
Step 2, take responsibility for your current position by accepting that you are the source. And step 3, be willing to sacrifice who you are for who you want to be.
See, step 3 is the brick wall for me. Let's say I'm fully on board with steps 1 and 2. I know I have to act. I know it's my problem to fix. Then I hit this concept of sacrifice, and I freeze all over again.
Gary.
It is. We all say we want things, right? We want the promotion, the great relationship, the successful business. But this framework defines wanting strictly by what you are willing to sacrifice to get it.
And that's where people get stuck. Most people don't actually know what they want because they refuse to acknowledge trade-offs.
We just have this massive aversion to giving anything up.
Oh, total aversion. We want to have everything all at the same time with zero friction.
The real estate analogy from the speech illustrates this so perfectly. Imagine you're buying a house and you tell your agent, I want a gorgeous mountain view. I also want to be literally on the beach in the sand. And I need to be walking distance from a Whole Foods in a bustling downtown. Good luck with that. Right. Those things are at apparent odds with each other. If you refuse to give up the beach to get the mountain view or give up the quiet mountains to get the downtown grocery store, you are never going to buy a house.
You're just going to stay in the hallway staring at all the open doors.
Exactly.
And we culturally view choosing just one of those paths as settling. The whole narrative is never settle, demand everything.
Yes.
But people mistake never settle for never make trades. In the real world, commitment is literally defined as the elimination of alternatives.
It's like holding a handful of unscratched lottery tickets. This is how I kind of conceptualize this whole optionality trap for myself.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because when you hold those tickets, you feel incredibly rich. Any one of them could be $1 million. As long as you don't scratch them, you get to live in this warm, fuzzy fantasy of maximum potential.
Because you haven't closed any doors yet.
Right, but to actually get the money to realize any real-world value, you have to scratch them. And that means you have to risk seeing them turn into losers. You have to destroy the fantasy to get to their reality.
And the crazy thing is, society actively trains us to hoard those unscratched tickets.
Wait, how do you mean?
Well, think about the way we are raised. In high school, the ultimate goal is to maximize your potential, right? You get the best grades, you join 10 different clubs, you get as many college acceptances as possible.
Oh, sure.
You are praised for keeping every single path open.
You're rewarded for having the most options, not for actually doing anything with them yet.
Exactly. But highly successful adults recognize this massive gap between maximizing potential and realizing potential. To cross that gap, you have to start cashing those options in.
You have to make the trades.
Right, knowing full well that choosing one path means a dozen other paths are going to permanently die. You only get one life. Options are only valuable when they are exercised.
Okay, but wait, making that trade means you're introducing risk. If I scratch the ticket and it's a loser, or I close all the other doors and pick one career path and it fails, reality just steps in and says, nope, you lose.
And that hurts.
It really hurts.
Yeah.
So if I know I'm going to face that kind of pain and rejection, what stops me from just retreating back to my comfortable fantasy?
Well, this is where we have to fundamentally rethink the purpose of feeling bad.
Oh, right.
When you give something your all and you sacrifice your other options, and the market or the universe deems your effort not enough, it is profoundly painful. But you have to pair that feeling of losing with feedback rather than with failure. Feedback is fuel.
We really don't like feedback that hurts, though. There's a strong argument in the source here that modern society is trying to, quote, castrate the teeth from the pain of loss.
That's such a visceral phrase.
It really is. We're trying to engineer a world where nobody ever has to feel inadequate.
Because we have culturally decided that feeling bad is inherently a bad thing. But feeling bad is a vital evolutionary signal.
Like physical pain.
Exactly. If you put your hand on a hot stove, the pain is a mechanical signal telling you to move your hand so it doesn't burn off. Emotional pain works the exact same way. It's a signal that your current approach isn't working and you need to change.
So if you apply for 10 jobs and get rejected from all of them, the pain is the signal to, rewrite your resume or learn a new skill.
Yes.
But if you try to numb that pain by saying, well, the job market is just rigged or those companies don't know what they're looking for, you never change.
You just run the exact same failing strategy back again. If no one ever felt the sting of loss, everyone would just do whatever they wanted, however they wanted, and society would just collapse.
Chaos.
Total chaos. People do foolish things, they launch bad products, they treat their partners poorly. They need to feel the pain of those outcomes to learn how to be better.
I really love the framing that you can feel bad and not feel bad about feeling bad. You can just let the pain be pure information. But practically speaking, how do you prevent that negative emotion from turning into a total spiral? Because if I pour my life savings into a business and it tanks, it's really hard to just say, wonderful feedback.
Oh, for sure.
So how do I not just crumble under the weight of reality's check?
By understanding that delaying reality only makes it worse. If you create a fantasy where you aren't actually losing, making excuses, blaming others, reality's check will eventually come due. And it always comes with interest.
That is terrifying.
It is. The mechanics of resilience start with not hiding from the loss. You look at it and say, okay, I lost. The market said no. What is the specific thing I did wrong, and what will I do differently tomorrow?
You just face it head on.
Yeah. Losing is the very first signal on the path to winning. Refusing to scratch the ticket at all is the only scenario that guarantees a permanent loss.
Okay, so you scratch the ticket, it's a loser, you let the feedback sting, and you adjust. But doing that repeatedly over 5, 10, 20 years takes an unbelievable amount of endurance.
It really does.
What is the engine that actually keeps a person moving when the payoff is totally unseen? Because there's a singular trait highlighted in this speech, one that's supposedly more important than intellect or talent, and that's courage.
Yeah, because without courage, you just cannot act. You cannot stand for anything. The source actually says it is far preferable to be a failure than to be a coward.
Wow.
But we need to define courage carefully here. It is not just blind bravery or fearlessness. Courage is the willingness to take action where there is a large, known, short-term cost, combined with a highly uncertain, delayed benefit.
A known short-term cost for an uncertain delayed benefit. Okay, starting a podcast or a channel is actually the perfect example of this.
Oh, completely.
The short-term cost is totally known right now. You have to buy the gear, you have to give up your weekends to edit, and let's be honest, your friends might make snide remarks about you trying to be an influencer.
Yeah, the social cost is real.
You suffer that cost immediately, but the payoff, a huge audience. Sponsorships, that is delayed and totally uncertain. You might get nothing. You have to take hits repeatedly just on the hope that it pays out later.
And to endure that repeated cost, you need a psychological tool, which brings up one of the most effective cognitive hacks from the speech framing the story.
Okay, tell me about this story.
Well, when you are in the middle of a disaster, you reframe the terrible event by telling yourself, this is the story I will one day tell.
How does that actually work in real time though? Like, if I'm starting that business and I lose my biggest client on a random Tuesday, and I'm staring at my bank account feeling sick,
Yeah.
how does the story help me in that exact moment?
You literally say to yourself, in that moment, this is the part of my interview in 10 years where I talk about hitting rock bottom. You are actively zooming out.
Oh, I see.
Stories act as behavioral reinforcers. Think about how we motivate a child. Remember the last time you did this difficult chore? You got ice cream. That memory of the reward motivates them to repeat the behavior. For adults, constructing this future narrative functions the exact same way. It hacks your brain's reward system. The worse things get, the more terrible the hardship, the more epic the future story becomes. Obstacles just become plot points.
That is a massive perspective shift. It turns the worst day of your life into the best chapter of your autobiography.
Exactly.
But there is a catch here with courage, something called domain specificity. Just because you do a hard thing in one area of your life doesn't mean you automatically have courage everywhere.
No, not at all. We tend to publicly admire physically hard things because they are obvious. Running an ultramarathon is incredibly difficult, but it's highly visible.
Right.
You can post your medal online, people cheer for you, the payoff in social currency is pretty immediate. But running a marathon is not predictive of being a good partner or having the guts to pivot a failing business. The quiet courage of decisive action is often much, much harder.
Right, because the quiet courage doesn't have an audience cheering for it.
Exactly.
It's looking your partner in the eye and telling them a truth that might end the relationship. Or like relinquishing your entire friend group because you've decided to stop drinking and they haven't.
That is excruciating.
It really is.
Yeah.
You are sacrificing everything you've known for a future you've never experienced. The cost is massive and immediate, and the payoff is a complete mystery.
And that tolerance for mystery is the ultimate metric for success. Your potential is directly determined by the amount of uncertainty you are able to tolerate and for how long you can tolerate it.
If you're listening right now, I really want you to audit yourself on that.
Sure.
How much uncertainty can you actually stomach? Because it dictates the size of the game you are allowed to play.
And recognizing this gives you so much mental freedom.
Yes. When you identify the outside forces controlling your behavior, you can actually take your power back. If you catch yourself saying, I want to switch careers, but I'm afraid of what my parents will say, you just realize that your parents control your behavior. They are the source. Taking that control back is the hard thing.
It's the transition from letting others dictate your safety to owning the uncertainty yourself. The world rewards you in proportion to your courage. The most dangerous person in any field is the one who continues to show up every single day, even when the rewards are entirely unguaranteed.
Okay, this brings us to the final boss of this entire framework, the ultimate dilemma.
Let's hear it.
You're taking risks. You're embracing the pain of feedback. You're building your epic story. You're tolerating massive uncertainty. But what if your story is just a tragedy of errors?
Oh, right.
What if you aren't being courageous? What if you were just being stubbornly foolish? How do you know the difference between the two?
That is the crux of high-level judgment. It basically boils down to knowing when to push and when to pivot.
The gym analogy for this is fantastic, but I think we have to unpack how it applies to real life. In the gym, you're lifting heavy weights, you're on your last rep, and your muscles are just burning. You have to ask yourself, am I giving up on this set because I'm just being soft and the lactic acid hurts? Or am I giving up because I feel a joint popping and I'm about to literally tear a muscle?
One pain is the pain of growth. The other pain is the pain of structural damage. Applying that to life or business requires immense self-awareness.
How so?
Well, the rule of thumb drawn from entrepreneurship is this. You pivot when a fundamental assumption that you began your quest with has been proven untrue by reality.
Let's ground that a bit. Let's say I start a YouTube channel about repairing vintage watches. I'm posting every week. It's exhausting. I'm getting almost no views, and it's been 6 months.
Okay.
The lactic acid pain, the pain I need to push through, is just the boredom of editing, the slow grind of the algorithm, the feeling of rejection. The fundamental assumption is people are interested in vintage watch repair. I just need to get better at making videos.
Correct. And as long as that assumption holds true, you push, you endure the boredom and the pain. But what if, after 2 years, you discover through search data that literally no one on the platform is searching for vintage watch repair anymore? The audience simply does not exist.
Wow, okay.
Your map of the territory is factually wrong. That is the torn muscle. That is when you pivot.
So you don't pivot because the editing is hard. You pivot because the premise is broken.
Exactly.
So for you listening, think about whatever struggle you are in the middle of right now. Are you just experiencing the boredom of repetition and the sting of slow progress? If so, you have to push. You can beat 99% of people just by mastering the shame of rejection and doing the boring work.
Just showing up.
Yeah. But if reality has repeatedly handed you feedback that proves your core assumption is false, don't be stubborn. Pivot.
You never pivot just to avoid the pain of losing. You pivot to align your efforts back with reality.
Man, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. We've gone from the paralysis of the dinner menu to the heavy lifting of reality. We've explored how to take true ownership by making your circumstances your problem to fix, regardless of whose fault they are.
And we've talked about the necessity of scratching those lottery tickets, making the hard trades, to actually realize your potential instead of just hoarding it.
We looked at reframing the sting of losing as vital fuel rather than a reason to quit.
Yep. And we broke down how courage, combined with framing your life as an epic story, allows you to tolerate the massive uncertainty required to do anything meaningful.
It is a totally demanding framework. It strips away all the excuses, but it leaves you with total undeniable agency.
It really does.
So to wrap this up, if our true identity is shaped purely by the trades we are willing to make, what is the trade you're unconsciously making right now by simply choosing to stay exactly where you are today?
That's a great point. Every day you don't choose, you are still making a choice. What are you trading away by standing still?
That is the question to take with you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Now go look at those uncapped options in your life, pick a path, and go make some hard choices.